Hi friends, Mindy here. I have a different sort of process video for you today. I am going to be joining in the challenge that Shauna has. Her YouTube channel is, I think it's Shanuki Art. I will link her down below, but she has a full deck challenge that she's been doing. This is her second go through. She's just starting the beginning of the second time through, where she does some altered playing cards. And so I thought it would be fun to join in this time. She's doing this one a little bit different. Last time she didn't use prompts or anything, but this time she's going through and actually giving prompts. And so I thought that would be a lot of fun. I like working with prompts for challenge type videos. And so the prompts for the first card are numbers, bird, bright pink, and a hole punch. So I have pulled out a few things. I have some little birds. These are actually really old ephemera pieces from By the Will for God. I have some eyelets that I thought I might use. I'm not sure about those. I have some different bright pink colors. And then I have a stencil that has some numbers on it. This is a Tim Holtz stencil. And so I'm going to put you on fast forward. Those are the items that I pulled out to cover the challenge prompts. And then we'll just see where this card takes us. So I'm going to put you on fast forward, and we will get this first card done for the full deck challenge. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is make this card so that I can work on it. A lot of cards are really shiny. This particular set isn't, but I do need a better surface to work on. So I am adding some tissue here. This is actually some wrapping from By the Will for God when you get your monthly kits from them. And I am just using some matte medium, and I placed some down on the card, and then I put the tissue down, and then I put more matte medium over the top. And now I'm just going to tear off the excess. I dried it with my heat tool. Mostly it's not completely 100% dry, but it's good enough that I can keep working. So I like the rough edges on here just to give it some more interest. So I just tore that, and then I just dried it a little bit more. And now I'm applying a wash of gesso. I keep this gesso bottle after I had kind of used up all the gesso in it. There was just a little bit left. I added some water, and then I just keep that wash in there. It just makes things easier. So I have this Tim Holtz stencil, and I'm using Distress Oxide Spray in Picked Raspberry for my really bright pink color. And I wasn't sure how that was going to work, but it ended up doing okay. And then I wanted to just kind of knock back a little bit of it, just so it wasn't quite so intense. So I have some gesso here, and I'm going to kind of dry brush this. This is going to end up kind of smearing that pink around a little bit because, again, it's water reactive, but that's totally fine. It just kind of blurs out some of the areas. I didn't want to lose all the definition of the numbers, but just to try to make it, give it a little bit more dimension and interest. And so I have these two little birds, and I decided to go ahead and use this black one because I just felt like I needed the contrast. And so I trimmed off some of the white around him, which meant that I actually kind of lost some of his little fuzziness, but I'll try to add that back at the end. So I went around him with some archival ink in black soot, and then I also went around the edge of the card. And then I also have this little pink doily that I'm going to put behind him. I just decided to go all in with the pink on this card. Just why not, right? So I'm applying this down with some Yoo-Hoo glue stick. I just added it over here in the bottom left-hand corner. And then I will kind of push that down, and then again I'm going to just tear off around the edges of it just to keep that kind of rough edge, and then go back in with some more Distress archival ink around the outside of that. I did the archival ink so that it would be permanent. So and then I'm going to glue my little bird here, and I went ahead and typed out on my Dymo embossing label maker what I'm going to use for my sentiment on this card. Which is the song title, His Eyes on the Sparrow. So I just typed all that out. I'm going to have to trim that down to get it to fit on there, but we'll do that in a second. But in the meantime, I wanted to add a little bit more contrast, and so I'm just using that same archival ink in black soot and going through my Tim Holtz stencil here, and just with the same exact stencil, just in a couple different places, I'm stenciling some numbers in black just to give it just more contrast and kind of push that pink layer back to the background just a little bit more. And then I'm going to put my little bird, and I have this, it's a heart-shaped eyelet. I thought about putting it through the bird, but then I thought that might look weird for him to have a little hole in him. So I decided to just go ahead and do this up in the top left-hand corner. And so I'm just using my little We Are Memory Keepers tool there to set that eyelet up there. These are really, really old eyelets. I cannot remember where I got them from, but I've just had them in my stash forever. So now I'm going to glue my little guy down here with some Bearly Arts glue. And he's just going to kind of live here for a second. And I am going to go around him with a black pen. This is a Sharpie S-Gel. And I'm trying to add some of those kind of like fluffy, wispy things back kind of onto the background, because I basically cut them off when I was cutting off the excess white section. So I'm just kind of going around and giving him a little sketchy outline, and then kind of adding the little wispies of his little feathers. So it's kind of hard to see on camera, but that just gave him a little bit more interest. And now I'm going to go through with this Dymo label maker, and I'm going to peel the backing off, and then I'm going to trim it down and adhere all of these pieces to my card. And I just typed out the whole thing, and then I'm just kind of, I peeled the backing. The backing is kind of hard to get off if you peel it, if you like don't use the little starter section of it. I don't know if that makes sense, but so I just peeled all the backing off, and then just trimmed it down as I was going. And then I went around this again just to kind of tie in that little sketchy pen. So I just went around each of the little words with that, just to kind of tie everything together. And then I felt like it still needed a little bit of something, so I'm going in with some gesso that's been watered down, my little water, my wash, sorry. And I'm using a fan brush here because it gives really good splatters. And so I just kind of tried to cover up his little face. I didn't want any splatters on him. And then just added a few little white splatters in the background, and that's my card. So if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, bye.